Good morning, guys. It is Monday, December 7th. So it's finals week for those who are in college, or at least at UCF, because I don't know if it changes for other colleges and other universities around the country or the world. But it is finals for us. So wish us luck. But today is a day of remembrance for Pearl Harbor in 1941, December 7th, 1941. We got attacked by the Japanese at Pearl Harbor, and we lost a huge chunk of our fleet, planes, and 2,400 people lost their lives that day. So it's definitely a day of mourning. It's also a day that kicked us into the World War II that was going on, and that ended up being devastating as well. So it's a pretty sad day. And that war was really, really gruesome, especially that side of it where we retaliated by island hopping all the way to the mainland. To the main island of Japan. Now, a big reason, if you have ever read The Art of War, a big reason that Japan ended up doing it the way they were is because it seemed, it's debatable why, but if you think about it, it seemed like it inevitable that America was going to join the war at some point. And in The Art of War, it's pretty much shows that it's a lot easier to win if you're on the offensive versus the defensive. And the best way to do it is to attack them as hard as possible with the first hit. That way they can't retaliate against you. And they did. They hit us really, really hard. And we ended up island hopping and being relentless and then throwing 2 atomic bombs at them when we got there, which I don't think was the idea. But their culture is something to admire because they are just for the whole instead of for the individual. So we would... I researched this a lot, or I learned a lot about it when I was in Marine Corps ROTC, and we learned about Pearl Harbor and island hopping. That was a lot. That was the Marines, a good amount of it, and they would get an island and then jump to the next island, thinking that they would secure it and then move on and move on and move on and slowly make their way towards Japan. And what they didn't realize is there were tunnels in the islands. So the Japanese were hiding out, and then once they moved on, they would do guerrilla warfare, and they would end up breaking up the supply lines and causing setbacks and just being relentless. Like, I think if that was more of an American culture, which it's definitely not, but if it were, we would surrender at the first sign of we were like, oh, no, we're okay, you know what, let's just talk about this. And then we would want to save as many lives as possible. It wouldn't be about the principal overhead country. I guess it depends on where you are, what your principles are, but thinking more on an individual standpoint versus a whole standpoint. But yeah, it's definitely a sad day to remember Pearl Harbor, but it is the day to do it. It also brings in International Civil Aviation Day, and to recognize how aviation has transformed our lives in the modern day. So, that's huge because it allows us to just travel the world and go places, and so quickly too. So it just makes the world kind of a smaller place, and opens up opportunities for us to see new things, meet new people. The world is at our fingertips in the modern day. Before, it didn't matter how much money, how much time you had, you couldn't see it all. Now it's possible. It's still difficult, but it's possible. It's also Cotton Candy Day. So, yeah. Sugar. Kind of need it on a rainy day like today. It's 57 degrees outside here, which I'm not complaining. That's not horrible. I'd much prefer that than the 30s and 40s, that ickiness. And this is gonna, once the sky clears up a little bit, it's gonna warm up quite a bit. So can't complain about the weather. Although I wish it wasn't as rainy or gloomy looking. I don't know who's kidding who. I love it when it's gloomy like this. It's so just relaxing. I don't know. It's just like my thunderstorms and towards the end of summer. I love those thunderstorms. Oh, but it's also, so December 7th is also a day about letter writing. I think it's just to remember writing letters. When was the last time you wrote a letter? And like talking about different styles of writing letters, and maybe trying to come up with an idea of pen paling someone. I think it's an older day. I'm not sure about the history of it, but I don't know if it's from a historical standpoint or a futuristic standpoint of like looking back and seeing it, or if it was in the past and it was talking about the importance of letter writing. But that just brings in the post office, and there is a day for the post office as well to commemorate like being able to send letters all over the world, which is also really huge. Really awesome. And then it brings in the plane thing, because now letters get sent and they're there in a couple of days rather than it taking months to travel across the ocean and such. So definitely appreciate the modern day. If I was thrust back in time, I would be miserable and I'd probably die really quickly because I can't control my mouth. Just to be honest. It's December 7th and it is Monday, the beginning of the week. So I hope you guys have a great start to your week. If you have finals, good luck, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.